We matched on Hinge on a Thursday. He messaged me first. Nothing cheesy. No, gorgeous. Just, I noticed you like hiking. I've got a trail that'll ruin all other trails for you. I rolled my eyes, but I smiled too. We ended up talking for 4 hours. He was charming. Not cocky, just deliberate. Knew how to ask questions. Made me feel interesting. By Friday, we were on the phone. By Sunday, we met for coffee. And by Tuesday, I'd already texted my best friend. Okay, this one's different. He called me his favorite chapter. Bought me flowers for absolutely no reason. Knew how I took my coffee by day 4. It felt like a movie. And it moved fast. Week 1. We saw each other 5 times. He sent me playlists, voice notes, little thinking of you texts every couple hours. It was a lot. But I'd been through dry, detached relationships before, so the affection felt good. At first, week 2, he added me as his emergency contact. I laughed when he told me, "Isn't that a little early?" He smiled and said, "I just trust you. You're my person." Then he handed me a key to his apartment. Not a copy, the key. Just in case something ever happens. We weren't even exclusive yet, but I took it. Because he said it with such sincerity. And honestly, no one had ever made me feel that chosen before. By day 10, I'd met his parents. They were oddly formal. Dinner felt like a job interview I didn't know I was applying for. They asked if I wanted kids, what I earned, whether I'd be open to moving to a more private part of the state. Again, I brushed it off. He was just close to his family, right? Then came week 3. We were supposed to meet at a wine bar after work. But when I got there, he looked different. Not physically. Just off. Less energy. Pale. Eyes puffy like he'd been crying or hadn't slept. He smiled when he saw me and said, "I did it." I asked what he meant. He pulled out his phone and showed me his resignation email. He quit his job. I realized I didn't need anything else distracting me from this. I thought he was joking. He wasn't. I asked how he'd afford rent, bills, food. "I've got savings. I've been preparing for someone like you." He said it so proudly, like he'd just solved a riddle no one else could. Then he leaned forward, looked me dead in the eyes and said, "You're the main character. I've been waiting my whole life to find someone worth quitting for." I laughed. Out of discomfort, not amusement. He didn't. He reached into his coat pocket and pulled out a folded piece of paper, a printed itinerary, our next 3 months, trips, dinners, couples therapy, for growth, even 2 tickets to a marriage prep workshop. He'd already bought everything, and at the bottom, in bold, "Starting now, my only job is us." I didn't sleep that night. I stared at the itinerary, his vision for us, and the longer I looked at it, the more it felt like I wasn't in a relationship. I was being scheduled. There were 0 blanks, 0 room for life, or change, or consent. Everything was prepaid, every weekend locked in. There was even a note for what book I should read so we could reflect on our emotional patterns together. I tried to rationalize it. Maybe he was just excited. Maybe this was his way of being romantic. Maybe he was just intense. But the next morning, I woke up to the sound of a key turning in my door. My door. I froze. It was 6:12 a.m. I wasn't expecting anyone. I live alone. I ran to the front door in a panic and yanked it open. There he was, holding coffee, wearing a hoodie I'd never seen before, smiling like this was normal. "Surprise! I thought I'd make breakfast and catch you before work." I couldn't even speak. He walked right past me, shoes still on, keys still in hand, like he'd done it 100 times. I told him this was too much, too fast. He nodded, too quickly, said he understood, said we should talk boundaries. But not once did he apologize for using the key to my place. And when I asked how he even had a copy, because I never gave him one, he said, "Oh, I got it made when I had your spare to surprise you with groceries that one time. I thought it'd be easier." I stood there in total silence, and he just started unloading the groceries he brought, like we'd moved past it. That night, I packed a bag and stayed with a friend. Told him I needed space. Told him I wasn't ready for something so serious. He called me 47 times before midnight. When I didn't answer, he switched to texts, paragraphs, voice notes, screenshots of the trip itinerary with new edits. See? I made changes for you. At 1:14 a.m., he messaged, I quit my job for this. You don't walk away from that. And at 1:36 a.m., a final message. If I'm not your priority, then you're not safe either. I filed a police report the next morning. They logged it, but said technically he hadn't committed a crime yet. The spare key incident was murky. The texts were concerning, but not threats. They suggested I change my locks. So I did. That afternoon, I came back to my apartment with the locksmith. He opened the door, and the place was immaculate, too immaculate. The couch had been vacuumed, the floors bleached, my sheets changed. There were candles lit, and a note on my pillow, written in perfect cursive. You're so tired. I thought you deserved rest. I'll always take care of you, even when you're scared. I checked the kitchen drawer. The spare was gone. Again. I moved in with my sister that night. I haven't been back since. My landlord changed the locks again. We're adding cameras. The police are monitoring his accounts. But he hasn't posted anything since. And every few days, a new Amazon package arrives at my old place, all in my name. Pre-ordered books I never picked, cooking utensils I mentioned once in passing, even a pair of matching toothbrushes labeled his and hers. I didn't order any of it. And my Amazon account, still password protected. To anyone out there who's flattered by fast love, who thinks intensity is romance, please listen to me. There's a difference between falling for someone and being absorbed by them. Because once they decide you're the only thing they want, they'll make sure you have nothing else. He was charming in a low-effort kind of way. Tinder bio said he worked in UX design, loved foreign films, took his coffee black, had that kind of messy hair and hoodie vibe that makes guys look effortless, even when they're clearly trying. Our conversations were decent. Nothing sparkled. But he was consistent, polite, funny in a dry way. Texted back within minutes, never ghosted. By day 4, he asked if I wanted to come over. I hesitated. We'd only talked for a few days, and I usually wait until date 2 or 3 before going to someone's place. But he said all the right things. No pressure. I just make a killer pasta. If it feels weird, we can reschedule. So I went. The apartment was in one of those quiet, historic buildings near downtown. 3 floors, brick exterior, frosted glass lobby door with no buzzer. He came down to meet me and held the door open like we'd been dating for months. His unit was on the 2nd floor, sparse but clean, minimalist furniture, a few framed movie posters, a record player he claimed he actually used. There was a half-open laptop on the counter, logged into what looked like Slack. Evidence of a job. I asked if it was his place. He said, yeah, he'd lived there a few months, cooked us dinner, put on vinyl, lit a candle like it was 2005 and he wanted to impress me with ambiance. We hooked up. I left around midnight. It wasn't amazing, but it felt normal, safe, low-key. I figured I'd see him again. The next week, we drifted. He stopped texting first. I didn't push. No hard feelings, just figured it fizzled. Then, a week later, I was driving down that same street, heading to a friend's place, and something caught my eye. His building. The lights were on in his old unit, but through the window I could see a man, a completely different man, watching TV. Older, bald, looked nothing like the guy I met. Weird. So I parked, walked up to the front just to glance inside. The lobby was different. No candle wax on the side table like before. No hoodie on the stair railing. I felt stupid, obsessive, but something wasn't adding up. So I asked the building manager. He was outside, trimming hedges. I told him I had a friend who used to live in Unit 2B. He squinted. 2B? That unit's been empty for months. I blinked. Are you sure? I was just there like a week and a half ago. He laughed, like I was confused. Yeah, we just rented it out. Older guy moved in 2 days ago. Before that? It was locked up. Place was in rough shape. Needed repairs. Been vacant a while. I stared at him. I met someone there. Nah. Place was off market. No one should have had access. I described the guy. Hoodie. Record player. Pasta. The manager's face didn't change. Lady, I don't know who you were with, but whoever it was wasn't supposed to be in that unit. I couldn't stop thinking about it. The apartment, the candles, the pasta, him. Everything had felt so normal. A little awkward, sure, but not off. Not dangerous. But that building manager had looked me in the eye and said no one was supposed to be there. And something in his voice. He wasn't confused. He was certain. So I went back. Middle of the day. Bright sunshine. I parked 2 blocks away, just in case anyone saw me. The new tenant wasn't home. Blinds open, lights off. I buzzed the manager's office, told him I'd left something there during my visit. He didn't even blink. You've got 5 minutes. The second I stepped into 2B, I knew. This was not the same apartment, same walls, same layout. But nothing else matched. The furniture was all wrong. No modern couch, no sleek coffee table. Just dated armchairs, boxes, mismatched rugs. And the photos? They were still there, but taped to the wall. Not framed, taped. Like someone had staged the whole place, just for me. A bunch of foreign movie posters. I hadn't recognized any of them the first time. They looked cool, aesthetic. But now I saw they were printed on cheap, glossy paper. From an office printer, the record player, gone. The kitchen, empty cabinets, no spices, no pans, no dishes, just one pot in the sink, the one he used for pasta. There were other things too, weird things, like a rolled-up yoga mat tucked behind the fridge, a stack of women's magazines, a half-used bottle of dry shampoo, a used toothbrush on the counter. All things I might have noticed, if I hadn't been distracted. And the candle? Still on the side table. Only now I could see the wick was burned down past halfway. Not new, not lit for me. I realized he'd probably used this setup before, maybe often. I got out fast, texted him that night. I didn't accuse him, didn't ask questions, just said, "Hey. Something about last week has been sitting weird with me. Can you call me?" No reply. Next day, I tried again. Blocked. Not just on text. Tinder too. His profile. Gone. Not unmatched. Deleted. The name he gave me, first and last, was probably fake. The UX job? No trace. Even the Slack I saw on his laptop? Could have been a screenshot. I filed a police report. The detective took notes, asked questions, then said something I still think about. Honestly, you're lucky. Most of these guys don't want anything long-term. They just want the experience. They'll play house with a stranger and vanish before anyone asks questions. I asked him how often this happens. He didn't answer. Just looked at me and said, "More than we ever catch." Sometimes, late at night, I scroll dating apps and wonder, how many of these guys actually live where they say they do? How many set the stage just long enough for one night? How many walk away before we notice the furniture was borrowed, the pictures were taped, and the whole apartment was just a mask? We went on maybe 3 dates, 4 if you count the night she invited herself out for late-night boba. And I said yes, mostly because I didn't know how to say no without sounding like an asshole. She was cute, really engaging, a little too enthusiastic if I'm being honest, but not in a way that set off alarms at first. She asked a lot of questions, deep ones too. About my childhood, my sister, my work routine, what I do after the gym, the kind of stuff that feels flattering in the moment until later when you realize she wasn't just talking, she was collecting. I texted her the next day to let her down easy, told her I didn't think we were clicking long-term, that I didn't want to waste her time. She hit me with a single thumbs-up emoji and never replied again. I figured that was the end of it. It wasn't. A few days later, I noticed a car outside my gym. A tan Corolla, older model. Passenger door a little dented. Not really unusual or anything, but something about it stuck with me. Maybe because it was parked in the back row, facing the entrance. Lights off. No one inside. Or at least, no one I could see. I didn't think much of it until I saw the same car again the next day, this time near my office, parked across the street from the building. Again empty, again just there. Still, I told myself it was nothing. Just a coincidence. Some random car I'd started noticing because of the weird timing. But then I drove to my sister's place that weekend, and as I was pulling into her neighborhood, I passed the same car, same dent, same plate frame, same vibe, and this time, the engine was on. That's when my stomach dropped. I didn't say anything to my sister, didn't want to freak her out, but after dinner, I made a point to walk back to my car a little slower, just to see if the Corolla was still there. It was. Same spot. Engine off now. No lights. Still no one inside. And the way it sat there, dark and still, it felt less like a car and more like someone trying really hard to look invisible. I didn't approach it. I just got in my car and drove home with this gnawing feeling in my gut, like something that wasn't quite panic yet, but definitely wasn't normal. The worst part? I never gave her my address, never invited her over, never even picked her up. She always drove herself, and we always met in public places. So unless she followed me, unless she memorized something I didn't realize I was giving away, I couldn't understand how she could have found me, but she had. It was a Tuesday night when it got real. I'd just come home from the gym, parked in my usual spot outside my apartment, headphones still in, drenched in sweat, completely drained. The street was quiet, no one out, and as I walked toward my front door, that feeling came back, tight chest, back prickling, like I was being watched. I turned around, and there it was, that tan Corolla, parked across the street, engine running, headlights on, pointed directly at me. I stopped, stared. It didn't move, didn't flicker its brights, didn't inch forward, didn't shut off, just sat there. I didn't know what to do. I wanted to walk over, knock on the window, demand answers, but every instinct I had told me not to. So I went inside, turned off all my lights, and watched through the blinds. The car stayed for half an hour, exactly 30 minutes. Then, just as slowly as it arrived, it pulled away. No screech, no drama. Just gone. And the next morning, I woke up to a text. No contact info, no name, just a number I didn't recognize. And one message. You looked tired last night. Try not to skip arm day. I didn't go to work the next day. I couldn't. I kept telling myself it was probably just a prank, some weird coincidence. Maybe a wrong number sent the creepiest message possible at the creepiest time imaginable, but I knew better. I mean, I knew. The gym, the office, my sister's neighborhood, now outside my own front door, that wasn't random. That was a pattern, and I couldn't stop thinking about the text. You looked tired last night. Not you looked tired. Looked. As in past tense. As in she was there. She saw me. I checked every privacy setting on every app I had, locked everything down, removed my last name from socials, scrubbed my location from every post, even deleted old stories. But none of that would have mattered, because the truth was, she didn't need to hack anything. She'd already followed me once. I just didn't notice. The next few days were quiet, which almost made it worse. No texts, no sightings, no car. Just silence, which meant either it was over, or it was building. Every time I passed a tan car on the road, my pulse jumped. Every time I came home, I circled the block once, sometimes twice, just to be sure. Every night, I sat in the dark for at least 20 minutes, blinds cracked open, watching the street like I was waiting for a ghost that might or might not still be real. I didn't even tell anyone. Not because I didn't want help, but because the second you say something out loud like, I think the girl I stopped seeing might be following me, you instantly sound like the problem. And honestly, I wasn't even sure what I'd say. She hasn't texted me in days. I haven't seen her. She might not even be doing anything at all, but I still feel like she's everywhere. There's no hotline for that. Then, on Friday night, she came back. I'd just gotten home from picking up takeout, Late, almost 10 p.m. Wasn't paying attention. Didn't check the street like I usually did, because I was carrying food and 2 drinks and didn't want to spill anything. And when I stepped into my apartment, something felt wrong. I dropped the bag on the counter, walked toward the window, and looked out. There it was. The Corolla. Same spot, same car, headlights on. Only this time, I didn't hesitate. I don't know what changed. Maybe I was just tired of feeling helpless. Maybe it was the silence between us, the way she never reached out again, but kept showing up, like she was waiting for me to make the next move. So I put on my shoes, grabbed my keys, and walked outside. The second my feet hit the pavement, the car didn't move. I crossed the street slowly, heart pounding, mouth dry, expecting the window to roll down, expecting her face to appear, expecting something, anything. But when I got there, I saw it was empty. No one inside. No engine noise. No phone mount. No air freshener. No signs of actual life. Just an open notebook on the passenger seat, face up. I stared at it for maybe 5 seconds before I leaned closer. It was open to a single page, and across the top, in big blocky handwriting, "This is where you live now." Just that. No name, no explanation. I stepped back, looked around, expected someone to pop out, expected her to be hiding nearby, filming or watching or laughing from a bush, but the street was still. Silent. She wasn't there. And somehow that was worse. I called the cops. They came, ran the plates. Stolen, obviously. Filed a report. Asked if I had any suspects. I gave her name, showed them the few texts I still had. The one weird message. But there wasn't much they could do. No crime had technically been committed, they said. No proof she left the car. No fingerprints yet. They told me to stay somewhere else for a while. So I packed a bag, stayed at a friend's place across town, turned off my phone, didn't sleep. And the next morning, I got an email. No subject line, no signature. Just one sentence. "You should have just said yes to Boba." Let me tell you about one of my creepiest online dating experiences. Typically, it doesn't go this well this fast, but whatever. So we matched on a Thursday. By Friday, I was already smitten. He was everything you hope for when you re-download the app again for the 3rd time that month. Tall, smart, funny, but not too much. Cute, but not like he knew it. Loved old movies. Taught high school English. Had a dog named Brando, which I now realize should have been the first red flag. We had banter, real banter. Not just dry "what do you do" chats. He'd send me obscure movie quotes and challenge me to name them. We even had a little nickname thing going by day 3. By date 2, I was already texting my group chat like, "Okay, y'all, I think this is it." He kissed my forehead when we said goodbye. Forehead kisses are dangerous. They tell your heart to shut up and fall in love. Date 3, we watched a movie at his place. No weirdness, no creepy energy. Just snacks, cuddles, and a genuinely good playlist in the background. We talked about future plans. Not kids and mortgage future. Just fun stuff. A weekend trip. A concert next month. Little things that feel big when you want something to work. He said I made him feel grounded. I blushed like an idiot. He walked me to my car. Said goodnight like he meant it. And then the next morning, I woke up to the text. I was half asleep scrolling when my phone buzzed. A message from him. I smiled, opened it, and froze. It read, "She's not the one, but she's close. Might keep her around just in case." That's it. No typo. No wrong punctuation. No, "lol, just kidding." Just a statement. Plain. Final. Like he was taking inventory. And my name was on the maybe pile. I stared at it for a full minute, hoping, praying, some explanation would follow. Another message. A correction. Anything. Instead, nothing. I waited. And when I couldn't stand it anymore, I replied, "I don't think that was meant for me." Read receipt. Typing bubble. Then nothing. No reply, no explanation, no apology. Just silence. I didn't plan on going over. I swear, I didn't. I sat with that message all day, trying to make sense of it. I went through every possible explanation. Maybe it was about someone else. Maybe he was workshopping a line for a screenplay. Maybe it was just a mistake. I mean, who texts something like that to the person they're talking about? But hours passed. Still no response. And the more I replayed it in my head, the more it felt like I'd been hit by a car I didn't see coming. I wasn't mad. Not yet. I was humiliated. So yeah, I drove over. I didn't even text, didn't call. I just needed him to look me in the eye and tell me what the hell that meant. I got to his place around 7. There was a car in the driveway I didn't recognize. I sat there for a second, just watching the windows. Lights on, curtains drawn, shadows moving inside. I started to feel sick. But I got out anyway. Walked up to the door, rang the bell. He answered after a few seconds. No surprise on his face. Just that same crooked smile he always wore when he was trying to stay cool under pressure. Hey. That was it. Not, hey, I'm sorry. Not, that text wasn't meant for you. Just, hey. I asked if we could talk. He hesitated, then opened the door wider, and that's when I heard it. A laugh. Another woman, sitting on the couch, wine glass in hand, wearing one of his hoodies. She looked over, smiled politely, and then he said it, to her. Babe, this is, Rachel. That's not my name. I didn't even correct him. I just stood there, frozen. He didn't look guilty, didn't look embarrassed. He looked annoyed, like I was making things harder than they needed to be. I asked about the text, straight up. What did you mean by that? He shrugged, actually shrugged. It wasn't about you, or maybe it was. I don't know. Then he smiled, like that made it better. I just mean, not everyone's the one, you know? But that doesn't mean we can't still have fun. The girl on the couch shifted, like she wasn't sure if she should leave or stay. I turned to walk out. Didn't say a word. Just made it to my car, locked the door, and sat there with my hands shaking. I blocked him, deleted the thread, told my friends, and cried anyway. Not because I loved him, not even because I lost anything real, but because he made me feel chosen. And then reminded me, so casually, that I wasn't. That I was almost. Not the one. But close. Here's what no one tells you about dating horror stories. They don't all end with missing persons reports, or restraining orders, or Dateline specials. Some end with a shrug, and a wrong name, and a reminder that the scariest thing isn't being lied to. It's being forgettable to someone you started picturing a future with. I barely remember swiping on him. That's the thing about dating apps. When you're bored, it's not about connection, it's about killing time, flicking through faces like you're shopping for a person, not actually meeting one. His name was Marcus, or maybe Mark, I don't remember. But I remember his opener. You look like the kind of girl who ruins lives and makes it look romantic. I laughed. I won't lie. It was a line. A little creepy but clever. And I was in the mood for clever. We messaged for maybe a day. Nothing wild. A few exchanges about music. He asked for my TikTok handle, red flag. But I gave it anyway. I mean, it's public. What's the harm? But the next morning, his tone shifted. He started getting too familiar, calling me baby and mine like we were already something. Sending long messages about how real our connection was, even though we'd barely scratched the surface. It gave me that tightening feeling in my chest, the one that whispers, nope, not this one. And I did what I always do when I get that vibe. I unmatched him. No message, no explanation. Just gone. I figured that was that. It wasn't. 3 days later, I posted a stupid lip-sync video on TikTok. Nothing special. Just a trending audio and a quick eye-roll moment in my hoodie. I went to bed thinking nothing of it. Next morning, I checked my notifications, half asleep, scrolling through likes and a few new followers, and then I saw it. A comment. Simple. Chilling. You'll regret ignoring me. Everyone does. My stomach dropped. But it wasn't just the message. It was the profile it came from. Because the account was new. Created that same day. No bio, no other posts. And the profile picture? It was me. Not just any photo, one of my old selfies, the kind I never posted, the kind I'd sent once or twice in a DM or maybe snapped in Snapchat, hair tied up, no makeup, lying in bed. A photo I knew didn't live anywhere public. That's when it hit me. He saved it. During that one day we talked, he must have pulled it from somewhere. Maybe from a now deleted story. Maybe from TikTok drafts if there's some way to access those. Maybe I sent it in a moment I forgot, but however he got it, he had it, and now he was using it. To speak back, to threaten, to pretend to be me. I reported the account immediately, of course. Flagged it for impersonation, harassment, whatever options TikTok gave me, and it went down within the hour, faster than I expected, which felt like a win, until it didn't. Because 3 hours later, another account followed me. Same face, same photo. But this time, the username was a near-perfect match to mine. Just one extra underscore at the end, like it was trying to slide in quietly, unnoticed, like a shadow mimicking your step in a dark hallway. It didn't comment this time, didn't like anything, just watched. And I mean that literally, watched, because every time I posted, it would be the first viewer, always first, as if someone was sitting there, waiting, with their finger hovering over refresh, like it wasn't just about watching me online. It was about occupying me, following me with my own face, posting nothing, saying nothing, just existing beside me like a second self I never asked for. I blocked it, reported it, gone in minutes. But then came the third one, and that's when it crossed a line I wasn't prepared for. Because this one didn't comment on my videos. It messaged my little sister. My sister's 17, still in high school, private account, no mutuals, no reason anyone from my dating life should ever find her. I didn't even know they could. But I guess all it takes is one photo, one follower list, one breadcrumb to trace the web back to the people you care about. She texted me a screenshot, confused. "Is this your burner or something? LOL, kinda weird." I opened it, and my blood ran cold. It was my selfie, again, cropped tighter this time. And the message? "She always ruins things. Just thought you should know who she really is." That was it. Cold, passive, calculated. Like he didn't need to yell or threaten, just needed to twist the knife enough to make me bleed in front of someone else. I told her to block the account, not to respond, not to engage. I downplayed it, said some weirdo was trolling me, but inside I was spiraling. Not because he was still watching, but because he was trying to talk through me now. To build something out of the shell of who I was. To make me seem unstable, or dangerous, or fake. Like I was the catfish, not him. I filed a police report. They took my statement, asked if I'd ever shared my address. I hadn't. Not directly. But I'd posted videos on my balcony once or twice, showed the street in the background, maybe a restaurant sign, maybe too many clues. And that's what scared me more than anything. I didn't know what he knew. I didn't know where he was watching from. I just knew he hadn't gone away. He just kept rebuilding. And every time I tried to disappear, he'd drag a copy of me back into the light. I deleted TikTok for a while, turned off all my DMS, changed my username on everything I could. But then, one night, I checked my email. And there it was. A message from a burner Gmail. No subject line. No signature. Just 6 words. "You can't delete what I saved."